there are a lot of very intelligent people who have they've made a huge mark in their field all over the world. One of them is Chimamanda Adichie. She calls herself a feminist, very educated woman, resides in the United States of America, and she is the one that wrote the book Half of the Yellow Sun, where she expressed, from her own research, probably what her father told her. I think the father is a professor too, and she expressed her views as regards Biafra, the Civil War, and many other things that happened. That is our own story. Well, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, ß0MßSH, KANU, has blasted Chimamanda Adichie over some unguided statement she made concerning Biafra restoration. Chimamanda is someone who has taken time to study. Yes, she's a storyteller, and she has taken time to do certain research, although she has certain things that are not correct, same as ß0MßSH KANU also. What I realized about ß0MßSH KANU is that ß0MßSH KANU is learning upwards. There are ways you learn downwards. He's learning upwards. I can see his narratives that it has totally changed from when it started. When it started, it didn't have too much information. He didn't have verified information, but now he has started doing researches. He has started listening to people who have information about certain things, and he is actually saying things that are very, very true right now. And he has started attributing blames to who blames should be given to. At the beginning, the rhetorics were like, oh, it is we against them, Yoruba, we Igbos, and let's all Biafra. Then he realized that it is much more than this. He realized that Biafra cannot be Biafra without trying to settle certain scores, that certain issues, certain things that exist in that coinage, that name, Biafra, that there are certain people who are part of the Biafra who have grievances against each other, who have fears against what the other person might do, the dominant group, Igbos, and all of that. And he started relating better with the Yorubas in certain ways that he had never done before, realizing mistakes that had happened. For example, Eta, and he talked about NNAMDI Azikiwe, and he talked about the mistake that he made. He said he should never have been sacked, and he talked about the history that we know. Well, Awolowo and Ahmadu Bello told Azikiwe, we are not compatible. According to Awolowo, he said Nigeria is a geographical expression. That's it. Whenever you hear that expression, it is made by Awolowo. Nigeria is a geographical expression and nothing more. There is no connection between us. And Bello, a Northerner, said the same. Nigeria is not compatible. But NNAMDI Azikiwe, who wanted, according to ß0MßSH KANU, houses in Ikoyi, he wants to retain that political position. ß0MßSH KANU analyzed according to his own opinion. Well, with this came the issue of Chimamanda Adichie. ß0MßSH KANU berated Ohanaeze Ndigbo for not standing and defending the people. They are killing your people, he said, and you cannot form a security outfit. All you are after is Igbo presidency. Now, can you connect the dots together? The same thing that happened, Dr. NNAMDI Azikiwe, the premier of Eastern Region, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, premier of Western Region, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Saldana of Sokoto, when they sat down together, one person was pushing for his own. The others looked beyond premier. Good things and the goodies that comes with that position. Even the Hausa man, or are we going to call him the Fulani? You see, they look beyond that, but only one person wanted the goodies that comes with it. And that is the same thing that is happening right now. Ohanaeze Ndigbo, they are looking towards Igbo presidency that might elude them. It's called sectional aggrandizement. What difference does it make? Obasanjo president, did it add any value to your lives? Yes, maybe it made some few people billionaires. What has that done to you? Look at Buhari, Fulani man. What value has he added? Rather, it's making a mess of his people. Look at Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Is there anything better happening in the region that he came from? or that it comes from? No. So it's called sectional aggrandizement. It doesn't add value to your life. Having an Igbo man as president does not make life better. Why? Because the present structure of things, it's not going to make anybody get in there to do the right thing unless an Igbo man steps in there and uses that position to call for a referendum. Let us vote to stay in or out. Type of politicians we have in the southeast of Nigeria, they are betrayers. They are saboteurs. They will never do this. So what is the use of clandestinely supporting an Igbo president? That's the point. Now, Chimamanda Adichie earlier said Igbo people need to rethink how they strategize politically before talking about secession. He said there is no Biafra. There are new movements, but for me, it's a question of being practical. Where will the border be? What is propelling this movement is a sense of marginalization, which I think is completely valid. Now, I want us to relate with Chimamanda. Chimamanda is not somebody who is not intellectually there. She's very, very much intelligent, and she has pointed something. Aside the marginalization, I think one thing that she has not talked about is the greed that leads to corruption. That is generally all over Nigeria. That's what it is. Greed, 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 greed. That is the majority of it is greed. Yes, I understand that some people have been marginalized here and there. There is no Biafra. Why? The name, is that the problem? I know that narratives are dropped from generation to generation and people keep repeating what they do not understand. And they keep saying, oh, they said their great-grandfather did this and that. When you look at certain issues, you know that there are grievances that needs to be addressed. We just don't sweep all of this under the carpet and say, oh, it's okay. Marginalization, that is what she spoke about. She believes that this can be addressed by Igbos, Southeasterners, coming up with political strategies. She went on to say, but this idea that the answer is independence is what I am not convinced of. Nobody has made a logical case for me. Quite frankly, I observe the terrible leadership that we have in the Southeast. Igbo people cannot unite if, for example, we say we want an Igbo president, and then we are talking about Biafra. There is a lot of political work that needs to be done in the Southeast. We need to do a lot of rethinking on how we strategize politically before we can talk about Biafra. Now, Biafra IPOB leader NNAMDI KANU, in response to her assertion, described the education she has to be a wasted one. NNAMDI KANU, in a live radio broadcast, said, just like they use Ukpabi Asika to try and finish up the job, like Chimamanda Adichie, Ukpabi Asika was an intellectual, very, very learned. He was bright, very intelligent. In order to prove to the British that he was detribalized, he started talking nonsense. Ukpabi Asika said, I don't see Biafra coming. They are not together. He was talking rubbish. Before the state of Israel was founded in 1948, the Jews all around the world were not together. Go and read the book called Exodus. The very prominent Jews in New York that had the money said no. They went to fight David Ben, and their ship was sunk. They brought arms to come and fight their own brother, not to come and fight the Arabs that were attacking Israel. The same thing is happening now. Anybody who is a bit learned, you write one or two things you think you have arrived, and you can offer an opinion on Biafra which you don't know. Very disappointed. I regard the regard I have for Chimamanda Adichie. Does she tell me she believes in one Nigeria and she's learned? Chimamanda, you went to school and you studied and you believed in something that was created as a limited liability company, more or less the Royal Niger Company. A Caucasian man, often mistaken as white, will decide a name of a nation for you. Wasted education. That tells you all you need to know. Now I understand the reason why they never give the Nobel Prize to Chinua Achebe. Now I know they did not give the Nobel Prize to him because he failed to denounce Biafra. Britain knew that Chinua Achebe was a hardcore Biafran. They denied him the Nobel Prize and gave it to Wole Soyinka instead. Chinua Achebe wrote more books than Wole Soyinka. Achebe is known all over the world than Wole Soyinka just because he's a Biafran. That's a global conspiracy against us. Chinua Achebe works has been translated to hundreds of languages all over the world. I recommend that Chimamanda Adichie goes back to read Things Fall Apart. Chinua Achebe was more famous than you are. He was a Biafran. He died a very proud Biafran. You that came up to maybe because BBC gave you an award, maybe one glass ornament, you think you have arrived. You are now dining and drinking tea with white people. You know, you now have opinion about Biafra. What do you know about Biafra? How can a people be united when they are defeated in the war? A war of attrition, which I call Third World War. What do you know about Biafra? The trauma, the psychological damage from the war caused by treachery from those we never expected. And you are talking about it as that we cannot unite. That England you go to and teach children, is the president of that place an Igbo man? And you're talking about Igbo presidency? Is Boris Johnson an Igbo man? But they gave you a award and give you all the limelight you need all over the world. And you're talking rubbish about Biafra. The Biafra leader, NNAMDI, KANU also berated Ohanaeze Ndigbo. Like I said earlier, he said Ohanaeze Ndigbo is illegitimate and cannot be recognized anywhere in the world. Instead, I'm canvassing very seriously for World Igbo Congress to take over the affairs of Igbo, socio-cultural events and activities whatsoever. World Igbo Congress will rise and do the needful because Ohanaeze will kill all of us. Ohanaeze Ndigbo is evil. The Fulani called George Obizo as their stage. I must make it clearly that Ohanaeze is illegitimate and must not stand. World Igbo Congress will replace them immediately. These are the words of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What's your opinion as regards all of this? I want you to drop your comments and your own thoughts in the comment section below. What can you relate? Do you relate to what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has said? I understand a lot of people want Biafra, but there are certain things that needs to be looked at here. Some people are saying already that Biafra is an Igbo movement, is for the Igbos. They are only looking for other minorities to help them achieve their aim, so as to stand as the godfather to oppress them. They said when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu addresses his people, I wouldn't blame him anyway. That's the language you understand, but I think he's learning upwards. Like I said, he calls on the God. Of course, it's generally Almighty God, but he calls it in his own language, native language, Almighty God, the God of the Biafrans. And according to people who do not speak the Igbo language, who are minorities and they are part of Biafra, they do not find this nice to them. They do not find this interesting. They do not see this as inclusiveness. They believe that they are being dominated already, and they feel that this is not acceptable. So these are the things that needs to be looked into, so as to make sure that an ethic man feels that he is also there.